Hello, this is Dana and welcome to my channel. Tonight, instead of just vlogging about anything, I'm going to vlog about what it is like to have an adult child incarcerated during Christmas. You would think I would remember, but I don't. It is easier just to put the past behind you and forget about it. Not that it makes a difference, but my grown child is a nonviolent drug offender. His drug of choice was marijuana, cocaine, crack, IV heroin, and crystal meth. I thought that meth would be the death of him and me. Him maybe a little sooner than myself. Let me get back on track. He had been incarcerated since October 2009. I thought I would die when I got the news at work he had gotten 7 years. I believe that is the time that he received then. I must tell you, quote, wait a minute, I must tell you that he, quote, enjoys, end quote, his time in jail as much as I guess anyone could. It makes you think, or it makes me think, what a bad mother I am and I must have been. I didn't think I was horrible until I figured out that I couldn't stop this monster, and neither could he. The first Christmas, I didn't know what to do. To buy presents, to act like he was just out of town, or what. My husband is very ashamed, and was very ashamed, and would get upset when I broke down and would tell people the truth about where he was. On our first Christmas back in 2009, I was just thrilled to see him alive. And that sounds maybe a little bit dramatic, but I'm not being dramatic at all. I didn't know how soon death would come knocking at our door. 2010 Christmas, the next year, was a little easier. He was in a different jail facility. He was a trustee, and we got the privilege of seeing him sign the glass for 30 minutes instead of just 15. By now, I was destroying everyone else's Christmas by obsessing if he would call or write. He said he had to be strong and not weak, because that if he was, he would get taken advantage of if he showed any weakness or emotion. He didn't call on Christmas Day of that year. I was very sad. He could have, but he just didn't. Makes me even sadder. But oh, so sad, but nothing like I ever dreamed of, which was right around the corner on March 17th, 2011. I won't go into much other than to say I was awoken by gunfire in my house, and my daughter had been shot multiple times by an acquaintance that we were trying to help do a favor for. She was severely injured, but survived. Our preacher asked what he could do, and I said to go tell our son who was in jail. Because of the severity of his sister's injuries, we were able to get him released on probation by the courts for him to help me take care of her. She has a spinal cord injury and other unfixable chronic injuries due to her being held hostage and shot. So he was at home for Christmas 2011. I had been grateful that he was here. I can tell you by Christmas of 2011, I wasn't that grateful that he was here anymore. Uh, that's for him and I to figure out. But anyway, so we move on. In approximately February, he was arrested again for charges concerning the manufacturing of drugs. I was devastated again, to say the least. He went back to familiar surroundings to spend the next 2 Christmases. During that time, I learned to become just grateful that he was alive. I was back to seeing him through the glass. Those Christmases were especially lonely because I couldn't see him or touch him or hug him or anything. A part of all of us, not just myself, was missing again. So we couldn't see him at all. And I'll just leave it there. Not too long after that Christmas, which was rough on him and us because he was like in a state of flux. And as usual, we were, especially I was. And I know I feel so guilty even once again because I knew he was on his way to prison when he was in the placement facility. So they did place him in a lower level prison facility that was a farm. And he was to spend the next Christmas after that there. And in April and I'm trying to remember the dates now because I don't have this wrote down, but in April of 2015, or was it 16? I don't remember. See, it's all running together for me. So he was moved to a work program where he got to go out during the day and had to remain incarcerated at night and on the weekends. He was looking at coming home February the 1st of 2016. And so we were looking forward to that with him. I will have to make note because it's something that impacted me more than I ever thought that it would. But on the same day he arrived at the work treatment program, his best friend, who had been like a son to me because he had been with us for family vacations, died of a heroin overdose. One bag of heroin, he was gone. Anyway, so that was a bad time for all of us, or most all of us. It definitely was for my son. Uh, he did an excellent job, they said, at the work he was doing, and we were looking forward to Christmas because at least we would be able to spend a little time one on one, face to face with him at Christmas. Well, it didn't work out that way. He relapsed in October, so he was immediately taken out of the program. And Christmas in this new facility with less than 90 days to go to come home. They didn't do anything when he relapsed. And that is his story to tell, and my part to tell is how it affected us at Christmas. We were so afraid that he wouldn't get released, but yet at the same time, hoping they wouldn't release the beast of addiction with him. Get out February the 1st. He had a near fatal relapse less than 48 hours after his release. They required CPR to be done by his father. And it happened again before he went back to jail. He went back to jail in May of 2017, and he'll be spending Christmas in jail in a facility that's familiar to him and unfortunately familiar to me also. He didn't ask to be an addict. I think he was born one. I'm sure other people have many different opinions, but nevertheless, how it affects me is because of his addiction, I get to spend yet another Christmas without him. But he is alive, and he will be gone for several more Christmases. I pray that things are different for him when he gets out. And it would be very nice if I was around to see that. If not, I would still be grateful to see that. Anyway, that's what it's like to have an adult child incarcerated at Christmas. It sucks. And I pray that you've learned compassion for people who suffer from the disease of addiction. And if you didn't, thank you for listening anyway, and we'll see you later. Bye.